our top 5 Christmas markets on a river cruise near you. Stay tuned. To help me with Christmas markets is travel specialist Lauren Matthews of Cruise and Travel Specialist. Hi, Lauren. Welcome back to Just River Cruises. I see that you're in the mood for today's episode.
I am Christmas markets. I'm a big Christmas girl.
So tell me, I absolutely love the Christmas markets. Why don't you fill our viewers and listeners in a little bit about the Christmas markets, and then we can talk about some of your favorite stops along the way. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Christmas markets, it is a big draw for people. It is just a really magical, picturesque, markets with food and crafts and different wares that locals have made.
Right.
And it's just really neat. It's one of my favorite things. And it's what started my travel tradition of always finding an ornament wherever I go. And I am not a huge fan of tchotchkes everywhere in my house. So I love that Christmas is that time that we get to pull out everything, that all of our ornaments, and relive those memories. And the Christmas markets are obviously a fabulous way to do that. They are magical and warm, and the smell and the sounds are just something that you can't experience without going.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, the best way to experience a number of Christmas markets is via river cruise.
River cruise, Yep.
Now, I've got a bit of a list of some of the most famous markets along there. Vienna, Austria. What's it like?
So Vienna is such a beautiful city in its own right, and they go all out with decorating and their lights, and down the streets with it must take them a month to get all of this stuff up. They must start in like October, and so they have really a beautiful market right in front of the city hall. It's all lit up, really beautiful. There's an ice skating rink. It's just very traditional. Quite frankly, most of them have a similar feel, but then they have differences because obviously they're different countries. So big differences in food, and then drink and local handicrafts.
But again, it's like the atmosphere when you get there, right? Like it's the smells and the sounds and the lights.
And it's not just tourists, right? Like this is something that locals look forward to as well. So it's not like you're walking into just like this tourist trap. Like you'll see locals and kids running around and people jumping and excited and fun.
And extremely authentic.
Yes. And it's great because that's one of my favorite parts about Europe, which is a very obvious statement to make. But when you're driving through the state, which a lot of us have done those road trips, and they can be really fun. And obviously our states have different things, but to go from one place to the next, and they're speaking a different language, and they have a different, their favorite country's, dessert or whatever. And so it's really interesting to see those changes throughout the river and so quickly.
The next on my list is Budapest.
Budapest, again, they've got the goulash, and chimney cakes, and they are big on performances. So lots of folk music and dancing. It's so interesting to see, again, because I don't know of, at least not here where we are, of a state dance. And it's so neat to see because it's these people that are so proud of their culture and they're so into it, and everyone kind of just knows it. So it's just really cool to see because obviously they've got the people that really dedicate their time to perfecting this. And Budapest is just a beautiful and lovely city in itself as well.
Fantastic. Now moving on to one that I've actually been to is Strasbourg in France.
Yes. So Strasbourg is very picturesque. It's a beautiful town in itself. And then with the, obviously they have the French influence being in France. It has the big cathedral. It's very charming. If there happens to be snow, now that's the other thing that people maybe don't always think about is it's cold during the Christmas markets. I mean, I think most people think that, but it can be really cold. The first time I went, I was 25 years old and my mom took me out shopping like I was 3 years old and, put scarves and hats and gloves and jackets and made sure. And that's one thing that I always talk to people about too is packing, because it's a very different adventure to pack heavier things like that. I mean, when I was there was snow on the ground at every stop. You just have to prepare yourself because there are people that are like, I really want to do it, but I don't want to be cold. And I'm like, then you really don't want to do it.
Well, I have an answer for that though, because if it's cold, you can always find a stall or a little bistro where they're going to sit you down. They're going to give you a nice warm fur blanket and a glass of mulled wine. That'll warm you up.
Yeah, the glue vine will definitely warm you up, that mulled wine. And yes, of course, there's always ways to warm up, but I just for the people that are like, I cannot stand it.
Yeah.
You are going to get off that ship and you're going to get a blast of cold air in your face. That's just the
It is
reality.
what it is. Yeah.
It's certainly worth braving the elements. And typically they're really some great deals.
Great way to shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great way to shop. And the river cruises themselves are typically less expensive. It's a different adventure, but Strasbourg is one of my favorite cities anyway. So it's hard to discount it.
And I gather it's actually home to the oldest and largest of the Christmas markets in Europe.
It is.
Moving on with our tour down the rivers. How about Cologne?
So Cologne has a beautiful cathedral. So they've got the little side winding streets and everything is decorated, and they've got huge, it's like 160 stalls plus at the Christmas markets, which is a lot. Yep. And it's Germany. So of course they have very rooted traditions with Kris Kringle and all of that. And so, I mean, my favorite is bratwurst. So I'm always down to go to Germany, and they've got a giant Christmas tree and carolers and choir and all sorts of things.
Absolutely charming. Now, finally, last but not least is the Nuremberg Christmas market.
Yes. So Nuremberg was the first one that I went to because I was coming from Prague, and then we went down there, and it was like walking into a snow globe. It just was so picturesque, and everyone was lovely and kind and happy. And we were there at night, and it was really an experience. It was really fun. That's the other thing I really like doing is during the day is a different experience, which of course it gets darker earlier. So it's not like you're going out at 9:00 at night, but some of the itineraries lend themselves to going at night as well. And that's when you kind of get different performances, and it's a little bit different of an atmosphere because it's a little bit more geared towards adults because generally, kids are going home and eating dinner and going to bed.
Yeah. Now, speaking of kids, I've heard folks say that it can be a really, really magical thing to bring kids along on a Christmas markets cruise. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, I know that my kids would love it. Christmas is magical for children and for adults as well, but it's special to see it through the eyes of children too. Like most things, it's just a different experience to see what they see and what they experience, and what catches their eye is very different than what catches ours.
If we're thinking about a river cruise, Lauren, do you have 3 go-to lines for a Christmas markets river cruise, or are they all pretty much the same?
I don't have go-to lines because it really depends on the client.
Right.
Most of the itineraries are very similar, but their offerings are different for imports and their excursions. The experience on board is different. Like I said, if there's some that are staying later, some that are leaving earlier, all of those are things that we take into account, which is why I sit down and interview and get to know my clients to see which is the right choice. Because there's really not a one size fits all, which is why we have so many river cruise lines that are flourishing and doing really well.
Right.
And selling out constantly because they all do a good job in their different market.
Yeah. So basically all the major river cruise lines that folks that are familiar with offer a Christmas markets river cruise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right now it's August. Is it too late for me to book this year? Or can I still get on board a Christmas markets river cruise?
It's not too late, depending on how flexible you are. As always, some of these smaller lines will book up quicker because they just have less rooms to fill. But there's usually, 1 or 2 rooms available, or we can wait list, or we also look at when final payments are due because that's when a couple people will drop off for whatever reason.
Right.
So there are different ways to look at it, but it's always worth a call.
But if I wanted a Christmas markets river cruise was something that I had my heart set on, how far in advance should I be looking to book it to get exactly what I'm looking for?
I would say like 18 months. I mean, you can book the summer before, the spring, summer before, if you're really particular and you want to make sure you get that room and, as far in advance as you can go, which is nearly 2 years most of the time. It's never too early to connect and to see what's available at the time.
Fantastic. Any final thoughts for folks considering booking a Christmas markets river cruise?
Christmas markets are wonderful. It's a great way to experience a different side of Europe. They start in November. So a lot of people are like, I don't want to be gone over Christmas. You absolutely do not have to be gone over Christmas. And then again, you certainly can. I mean, on ours, we had Santa Claus come on and gave everybody a gift from the cruise line that was actually really cute and special, not like a I don't know,
Yeah.
like a chapstick or something. Like it was like a cute little wooden train, and
Yeah.
it was very authentic, and didn't have like the cruise line's name on it
Yeah.
or anything. I think that it is absolutely worth going to do and see, as long as you are good with layering.
Right on. Right on. Well, this is
Yeah.
fantastic. If folks wanted to reach out to you about a possible Christmas markets river cruise, how would they do that?
Well, I would love to chat with anyone who is interested in looking at Christmas market cruises. My phone number and email are below. Call, text, email, whatever works for you works for me.
Fantastic. Well, with that, Lauren, I'm just going to wish you happy holidays, and we will see you in the new year.
Thanks, Ken.
Bye. And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Lauren Matthews of Cruise and Travel Specialists. If you'd like to reach Lauren about a possible river cruise vacation, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us with a suggestion for a future video or an interview, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com. Visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoy this content, a like, subscribe, share, and ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels.